Now, the experts are warning that US involvement could drag it into an extended conflict and inflame the region. Hamas and Hezbollah may have been discredited, but Tehran does have allies in Iraq and Yemen who could harm American interests. Those proxies have directly attacked US servicemen and disrupted international shipping. Alex Vatanka is a senior fellow at the Middle East Institute, also the author of Battle of the Ayatollahs in Iran. He's with me now. Alex is with me. Alex, so what's your gut feeling of what President Trump is likely to do?
Oh, Richard, I wish I knew. I mean, over the last 1 week, we've gone from diplomacy to yesterday, the President of the United States basically saying he might go after the supreme leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei. So it's really difficult to sort of predict where we're going to go from here. The obvious ones that one can point to in terms of realities is the country, the United States, from what I can tell, speaking to you from Washington, D.C. area, is not really on board. They don't see this as America's war. Yes, let's help Israel, but getting it dragged into a war is not something, from what I can tell, my vast majority of people want. And then you got the region. Increasingly, I'm hearing from the region, like, what does it mean for us? The Gulf states, they're asking, what does it mean for our future, for their relationship with the United States going forward? So lots of questions here.
Okay, so let's, just for the purposes of these questions, assume the US does go in with its B-2s and its bunker-busting bombs. Who's rushing to Iran's support and rescue? I mean, on the day after the US has done it, what happens? What's the effect? Is there any? Is this just a case of a lot of noise, but actually everybody carries on?
That could well be the case. I mean, look, when we're talking about what the U.S. is going to hit, at this point, the Israelis have done a pretty effective job in taking out so much of Iran's military capabilities, including hitting nuclear sites. So the question is, what is the U.S. going to hit? Everything is, that we've been talking about last few days is that one enrichment facility in the mountain in Fordow. Let's say the U.S. takes that out. Is that the end of it? Well, if the regime is still in Tehran, isn't it just a question mark before they come back and rebuild? They still have friends. The Russians and the Chinese are not running to Iran's assistance right now, but that doesn't mean they might not play a role in this regime, if it stays in power, to rebuild. So really the problem here is not the nuclear capabilities of Iran, it's the political nature of the Islamic Republic. That has to change.
Right, but that's regime change. And that is a bigger issue. Let's assume, because I'm reading everybody talking about regime change, let's assume that the goal is more modest, and pardon the phrase, the goal is whack-a-mole. They destroy the assets, the nuclear assets, and yes, to your point, if they have to do it again in 3 years' time, you do it again in 3 years' time.
Right. Yeah, well, that might be the way that Prime Minister Netanyahu sold it to President Trump. I don't know. But we do know the Israelis, after October 7th, basically came to the conclusion that whack-a-mole is not the way forward, that they can't afford to sit there, have Iran, what they call the mothership, and its proxies get closer and closer. So strategy on the part of Israel is to basically get rid of the Islamic Republic. That's increasingly where they're going. The question is, will President Trump go along with Bibi Netanyahu? I mean, that's the big question that nobody can really figure out. But let me also say this. If it is about political transition to something else in Iran, we have seen zero signs of the United States getting ready for that. Absolutely zero sign. When you compare to what U.S. did prior to invading Iraq in 2003, it took more a year of preparing the ground for that invasion and occupation. Nothing like that is happening right now here. So really the idea of regime change seems to be more of a wishful thinking on the part of some than being reality put into action. So.
Right. Alex, I'm grateful for you, sir. Robust discussion. I'm thanking you. Thank you, sir.